All right, ladies and gentlemen, who can name all of Cliff's bands? Let's hear them. Shout them out. Okay, I heard one that I don't recognize. What was the one I heard over here? True Temper.
Fry by night.
True Temper. Oh, there's it.
That was the first one. Friday night, the first one.
Ladies, really? Okay.
Nice. Fucking awesome.
Well,
Chaos.
I recently got some really awesome news and really excited just to share this with you guys. So please allow me to, we're going to dim the lights and I want to introduce you guys to True Temper.
That's why your songs were always 3.5 hours fucking long. The Echoplex.
Yeah, no, that wasn't it. Bill would never stop. Never.
Bill Weber they're talking about.
This is another one of the guys that grew up with Cliff.
He's dead now.
He's
But Bill had
he's
a style with that Echoplex. It just like
That was amazing.
engulfed the room.
Is that a
And-
style?
and-
I couldn't fucking play to it. It just went. It was echo, and it was.
Because you could never find the
funny thing
one.
though, that
I never found the one. Where's the one? I don't know.
It was swirling around your
well,
head.
Cliff could always play to it. He
No,
Cliff
he don't
just
play to anything.
So right over the top of Bill.
Exactly.
I can
think
remember.
Bill used
I
to
can
get
remember seeing
pissed.
Bill's,
So wait.
Bill's face.
Yeah.
So we're playing out.
Who's
We're
soloing
playing out
here?
at the Crow Canyon fucking house, and fucking Bill's playing lead, and Cliff and I are playing, and Cliff went up there and just started fucking playing lead over Bill, and Bill would stop and let Clifford have his time, and then Cliff would stop and come back to lead. And then Bill would go back up to play, and then Cliff would jump in there and play lead over him, and then Bill would back off, and then Cliff would back off and let Bill back in, and then Cliff would jump back in again, and it was so great. He got Bill so pissed
Yeah, he was pretty good at
off.
getting Bill
It was so
riled up.
wonderful.
Always get Bill riled up.
So
You know what's
wonderful.
interesting? I'm just now going back through some old tapes and digitizing them, and I've got some old Bill Weber tapes, and I'm putting them up to digital, and I'll share them with you when I
Hey, this is
once I
about
get them
Cliff Burton,
digitized.
man.
Well, yeah, but I know, but you talk about Cliff in the old
Gotta
days.
talk
You
about
got
Bill,
to
man.
include Bill.
You gotta include Bill because they're always together.
Bill said to me,
So that was a first for many people in the room. Do we know that Cliff had a band during the Trauma days, during the Metallica days? True Temper, is that amazing? Like that's just become unearthed in this way. Okay, cool. So I would like to invite Mr. John Cruz of True Temper up to the stage, please.
What's up, folks? Happy birthday, Cliff. All right.
The stage is yours, my man. So you played
What do you have to
drums
say?
with Cliff.
I play drums. Yeah, I play drums still. I met Bill probably about 1980. I'd been playing in a little cover party band, and they brought Bill in as a guitarist one day, and he and I just clicked. So we broke off and started to do our own thing. And prior to us breaking off, that band wanted to play a party, but we didn't have a bass player. And I'm like, I'm not playing no party with no bass player. And they go, well, we know a guy. He's real good. And I go, well, he's not going to know any of our stuff. They go, just don't worry about it, trust us. And so we played at this house in Castro Valley in this living room. And I'm all set up, and here he comes, sets up. We kick in, we're doing Ted Nugent and AC/DC and a bunch of those old classics and stuff. And Cliff's just going wild, man. His hair is everywhere. And this guy's phenomenal. So I was blown away with that. And then Bill and I started doing our own thing, and we would coach Cliff every time we got a chance. We go, dude, we need you to come and jam with us and stuff. He was already working in Trauma, but we were trying to do what we could to land him for our own. So we do parties, whenever there wasn't a concert in town, or there wasn't a party to play at or go to, we would all end up at Bill's house. And my set was always set up there. It would be 4 or 5 guitars taking turns, sometimes running 3 at a time. A lot of the guys that, from the barn days would end up down there. And Cliff would play, and no one would want to play after Cliff because no one wanted to play after Cliff. And which totally made sense. A couple people would sit on drums, like Kevin, who was up on one of the flyers, and Joey, Jim Schaefer. Yeah! Yep. They were great days, a really cool scene. I'd never seen anything like it. And then Cliff started telling us, well, there's this band that wants me to join them from down in LA, and I don't know if I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, don't do it. It was quiet, but it was quiet enough for him to hear it. But he showed us the tape, he played us the tapes that he was getting, and I'm like, fuck, man, he's gone. And then he said, well, no, I'm not going down there. So they came up here, and the rest is history. But, phenomenal guy, great talent, amazing to see what he did. Really cool to see someone, from us, regular guys, break through and hit the stage, even when, even in the face of all the big rock names of that time, this new speed metal thrash thing was a new avenue that everyone was like, nah, man, that's crazy. They're all screaming, and it's too fast, and it's not pretty enough, and we all grew into it. We all caught up with it, and it's still going. This is 40 years ago. So the recording that he was playing was a jam session at Bill's house in between legs of the Ride the Lightning tour. And it was one of those things, where you hear that Cliff was a down-to-earth guy, and he was humble, and he didn't really care who he jammed with, at least in regards to how proficient you were. So when he'd come into town, he'd hit us up. And so we did this jam session, and he's got probably the same guitar that was shown up there on the Ride the Lightning tour shows. Came in and just rocked it with us. And we were recording back then on a boom box. You know, we didn't have fancy gear. We just threw it in. So I found that tape, and I have another one of, it was like a rehearsal for the October 30th show in '82, which was my 20th birthday party 40 years ago. And I didn't know if they were going to play. They're old. And I was scared to try to play them, to digitize them. And we did it, you know, with the help of my son, just like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And I'm going, please, please don't die, tapes, please don't die. But they survived it, which is amazing and really cool. And now I've got them on digital, so they're gonna stick around for a while. Maybe sometime I'll get an opportunity to share the rest of the music with you. There are some amazing clips, songs, jams. We didn't have a vocalist, so it was all about me playing drums and those two guys taking turns, taking solos. Just like the guys mentioned, you know, Bill would play and Cliff would come in and they'd be just dueling it out, and it was phenomenal. And I'm sitting back there going, oh my God, man, they're destroying these kids. It was phenomenal. It was a really cool time. One of the highlights of my musical journey. It was heartbreaking when Cliff died. It was my dad who called me up and told me about it. Actually, my dad's here right now. Hi, Dad. And my son Jesse, who helped me with the recordings and stuff.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah. Actually, a fine musician himself, currently playing in a wonderful band called the Mutilations. If you're into doom surf, which is a whole different thing, but they're really cool. So shout out to my boys at Mutilations. And it was heartbreaking. The funeral was heartbreaking. You know, I hadn't seen Connie since, you know, prior to the last Cliff Burton day that we'd had in person. I hadn't seen her since the funeral. And then 5 years later, Bill died. So I'm the only surviving member of this little trio of crazy young dudes who wanted to make some what we thought was cool music. And there are some remnants left of that. So in time, I'm gonna get my shit together and put it together and get it out there. That'll be for the fans, for Bill's daughter, and for you know, the Cliff Burton family. Amazing work they're doing with their foundation. We were kids then, you know, 18, 19, 20 years old. And to see them touching young people's lives, giving them an opportunity to pursue their musical dream or adventure, or just to do something wonderful and creative, is an amazing gift. I thank Ray, and rest in peace, Ray, for taking the royalties from Cliff's earnings for his recordings and his performances, his time, his contributions to music history, and keeping it alive through young minds and young hearts and young spirits. It's truly a wonderful thing. And that you're all here sharing this with us shows me. And if you look around yourself, you can see it yourself. We carry that spirit with us. So I just want to thank everyone who comes out, all the people who put this together, you know, of course, Nick and Mike, but you know, all the volunteers here, all the people running lights, and all of these things don't just happen. You know, it takes work. And it's a very cool thing. There are a lot of people, if you look online, who wish they could be here right now and can't because they're all over the world. And they are all over the world. I do want to share a few things with you. First of all, Wilma Chan, the person who presented the proclamation of Cliff Burton Day, Alameda County Supervisor, unfortunately was killed in a motor accident, automobile accident in Alameda a few years ago. And they've renamed a street in Alameda for us. So Constitution Way is now Wilma Chan Way. So if you're in Alameda and you're feeling kind of, you know, feisty about the way you drive, don't drive like a dick on her street, please. Okay? Because, you know, show her some respect and love to her for bringing that. Yes, and then, yes, they're named Highland Hospital after her. Another place that saves lives. Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. I have a few other things, but I'm old and my brain doesn't work real good sometimes. But I used to bang my head too when I was a kid. Again, it's a real honor to be here and to share this with you, and I plan to share what I've got, what little I have. Shout out to my boy Ricky Bobby, and all the kids, all my son Michael's kids, who came out here to be with us today. I lost my son Michael 7 years ago, so I know Ray and Jan's pain, Connie's pain. But we're going to pick ourselves up, and we're going to let music do it, and then we're going to make music do it, and then we're going to share it. So I just want to say thank you, and everyone, have a great time. Let's celebrate Cliff's Day. See you at the Valley Inn.